Hey everybody, welcome back to Final Resonance TV and episode number 40 of Van Halen Stories. Today, my guest, you know what? It's been 11 years and 14 days since I've been waiting to interview this guy, and one of my favorites in the business. Also, an early pioneer of the tribute scene with Atomic Punks way back in the day, which is crazy how long that's been since it was '94. It says. I don't know if that's right, but and also, 24 years you guys have been working on this project that you've been with. Now, I want to say this real quick. Just like Van Halen, Steel Panther started out small in the clubs and is now rocking the stages of the world. And right now, you're about to go back out on tour for another stateside stuff and then European. Man, how do you guys do it, man? That's a long time, though, man. 24 years?
I don't know. It just kind of accumulates day by day. Like, it's like, how do you get that much time in this business?
Right.
One day at a time, do one show at a time. It's so cliche, but it really is true. Because we never really imagined that this would happen. It just kind of happened. We just kept doing what we love to do. Doing that Van Halen tribute band, the Atomic Punks, was really the first time I really cut my teeth on doing shows every weekend.
Right.
Because before that, I was an original band. We play a showcase every 2 months and try to get a record deal.
Right.
But with the Atomic Punks, we played every Friday and Saturday for years.
Right.
Really just learned how to be almost like a touring act, but fly dates.
Right.
94 is correct. That's when we started.
Okay.
And then I left in 2008 when we got signed. Steel Panther got signed.
Right. So
They got
Satchel,
another singer and went on and they're still playing till this day.
I know that's amazing, right? So Satchel was with you in that, right?
Yeah, he was in there for about 5 years. He played bass in Atomic Punks for a little bit.
Okay, awesome.
Just so he's like, I'm like, you're a guitar player. He goes, I'm up for a challenge and I want to challenge myself and do it. I'm like, let's go.
Wow.
I mean, the guy can sing killer. He's an amazing guitar player. The bass was not really that big of a deal for him, but I don't want to say that for bass players. I mean, Michael Anthony's parts are difficult to play, but Satchel can handle that shit. So he handled it. And then our other guitar player at the time ended up going and touring with David Lee Roth for the Sam and Dave tour.
Okay. How was that? Yeah.
Yeah. So Satchel moved up into playing guitar. It's like a natural progression. He's like, fuck, I'll do the guitar. And then we brought the old bass player back, the original bass player, Joe Lester, back.
Right. I got a question for you. I want to make sure I cover this one because I think everybody that's watching this today is going to have this question about Michael Starr and Van Halen. And you probably already know the question I'm going to ask, but for all these years, in the 90s where you were doing Atomic Punks, there were moments like when Gary Sharon came in that they could have called Michael Starr. Did that?
Oh man, I was thinking about this interview and what I would talk about, and I'm just going to talk about all my encounters with Van Halen.
Well, do it.
Because there's only a few, right?
Okay.
The one that really sticks out, especially with this question you just asked, I'm in Staples, right? And I'm buying like fucking pencils. I don't know what I'm buying. And I go to the checkout and there's Eddie Van Halen and Wolfie checking out. And I'm like, I can't look at him, but I got to look at him because I know I'm looking for a singer. I'm a singer and I can sing Van Halen. And I'm thinking this all to myself. I got to tell him. And he turns around and he goes, hey, you're that singer in that Van Halen tribute band, huh? And I go, I was like, he knows me. I was like, oh my God. I freaked out. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know what to say. I totally froze up because, dude, Eddie Van Halen at the time, my whole childhood, it's been the guitar hero of my life, right?
Right.
The band is like the most important part of my life, as a kid, and still to this day. And so when Wolfie said hi to me, he was very little, and I think it was in 90, maybe 5 or something, maybe 96. I forget when Gary or before they got Gary, what year that was.
Yeah.
I never said anything, but he said, I've seen some of your videotapes. You guys are good. And I thought, well, he probably doesn't like me enough because he already saw it and he's not asking me. So I was like, all right. And I just said bye. And that was it. It was really brief. And I didn't want to fanboy him too hard because I didn't want him to not like me.
Right.
It's like meeting a girl. You're like, what do I say?
Right. So what's the other one you were going to tell me about?
Well, okay. So when the Atomic Punks first started out, it was this guy, Bart Walsh on guitar.
Okay. Yeah.
And David Lee Roth wanted to go out and do some solo stuff. So he took Bart from our band
Right.
and other drummer Ray Luzier and James Lomenzo on bass from White Lion, and
Okay.
he made his band, right?
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks, maybe a month or so later, Bart calls me and goes, "Hey, you want to have dinner with me and David Lee Roth?" I'm like, "What? Where?" The Rainbow, bro. I'm like, oh, no fucking way. So I go to the Rainbow and I'm sitting there and I'm with my girlfriend at the time, and she's got big old titties and she was hot back then. And we're sitting there and Bart's sitting there with me, and I'm like, "Well, where is he, man?" He goes, "Oh, he'll be here. Matt's gonna bring him. He'll be here any minute." And he fucking rolls up. He walks in. He sits down. He's like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" I go, "What's up, man? My name is so and so." And he's like, "Hey, what's up, dude? This is my girlfriend Laura." And he's like, "How you doing, man?" And he's like, he starts eyeing her titty, her boobs and shit. And I'm like, "Oh my god, he's hitting on my chick right in front of me, right?" And so we just start talking, and there's no food being eaten. It's all like just Jack Daniels, right?
Okay.
And the one thing that I took from it, there was like some conversational stuff, but the thing I took from it the most was I thought I was going to talk to David Lee, the real David Lee Roth, right? Like, "Hey man, so what's going on? What do you do? What's up?"
Right.
He was like doing an interview, bro. It was crazy. He was like, "Hey man, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you back in the day here at the Rainbow, I used to do this, man. I'll tell you my pictures over there, and I'm in Van Halen, and I'm going solo, man. Thanks for letting me have your guitar player. It's pretty good, man. You guys are not too bad yourself." I'm like, "Holy shit." And he just kept going. He did not stop talking. And then he got up. He said he had to go to the bathroom, and he left. That
Wow.
was it.
Wow. You know what? In one of Eddie's early interviews, he would say, we would just send him into the room with the press people, and then he would do his thing. And then when he left, they wouldn't even know what he said. Just dazzled them.
I didn't get it. I was like, "What? What is he talking about?" And then I just noticed he really, really liked my girl's tits, boobs.
There you go.
Like, wow, man, that's cool. David Lee Roth likes my girl's boobs. This is killer.
So one of the things that I don't know if I saw the picture of this, but when they did the Eat 'em and Smile almost reunion, were you at that?
Was I at it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
At the bowling alley?
Yeah, dude. I got a call from Greg Bissonette
Yeah.
about 2 months prior to that show.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, Steve and Billy and I are thinking about doing a reunion anniversary show for Eat 'em and Smile.
Yep.
And Roth's busy with Van Halen. Would you be interested in singing it?" And Greg, I've known Greg for a long time, and I'm like, "Well, I would, yeah, absolutely. I know all those songs. I'm down. When is it?" He goes, "We're doing it Lucky Strike and so." And I'm like, "All right." So they put out a press release, I think, and they mentioned that I was going to sing in it, and I was really, really excited. And then the day before, Steve Vai calls me, and he says, "Hey, Dave wants to do it now." I'm like, "Oh, really?" My heart just went, "Oh." I was like, "Oh," and then I'm like, "Can I come?" He's like, "Yeah, of course, dude. You got to come." And I'm like, "All right." So I went down there, and it's fucking packed, packed.
Right.
And so I forget who. Oh, I went backstage to go talk to the band, right?
Mhm.
And I walk into the backstage area, and Dave's standing there. The other guys aren't there. I don't know where they're at. And he looks at me and goes, "Hey, it's the Steel Panther guy, man. Come on in, man."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Wow, it's David." And he remembered me, right? So I
Wow.
started talking to him, and I got the real Dave. I really did.
Wow.
We
Okay.
talked. He complimented the band a lot. He said, "Man, you do me better than I do myself." I mean, he's really, really sincerely so. I've never seen him like that before, and he was really nice. And we talked for like 20 minutes. And while we were talking, he was supposed to be going on stage, and he didn't go on stage. The fire marshal ended up coming and closing down the show, so
Right.
they couldn't do the show. And the band comes back in, and they're like, "We're ready to go, man." And then he's like, "I'm ready." He goes, "Well, too late. It's canceled." So we just sat there and we talked a little bit longer, and I took a photo op with him,
Right.
and that was the end of it, man. Oh,
Wow.
I forgot to tell you, one time I met Eddie Van Halen again.
Did you?
Yeah, I met him at the dress rehearsal for the reunion tour. I
Right.
think it was at the Forum,
Yeah.
if I'm mistaken.
Friends and
And
family, they call it. Yeah.
friends and family, right? So you could just walk anywhere. And I walked up to the side of the stage and Eddie was walking out and he comes over to me and shakes my hand and goes, "Hey, what's up, dude? Glad you can make it." I go, "Well, thanks for having me." That was it.
Wow.
And then I got to watch them reunite for the first time in front of me.
Right.
Now, just to let you know, I saw Van Halen at the US Festival. I
Right.
saw him at the LA Sports Arena for the Fair Warning Tour, and to me, that was like just getting to meet Eddie like in that on the side of the stage as he's getting ready to go on was pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. I was going to say, when what I always get to with people is like when they first discovered Van Halen, what was your first moment?
I discovered Van Halen with my brother. My brother turned me on to cocaine, and we were drinking. We did some blow, and we drank. And I'm not kidding. This a true. I'm not even embellishing. And he goes, "Dude, you got to hear this." And he put on Eruption, and he played it for me. And from that day on, it was just that was it, man. That was the band
Wow.
for me.
Wow. So what was the first show you saw?
The first show was the LA Sports Arena, and I remember I walked in there and to the sports arena, and it smelled like weed, like it used to back in the day, like it does now, basically. But back then, it was like, whoa, this is cool, right? So
Right.
it smelled like weed, and there was a bunch of dudes with long hair, like I have, like trying to look like Dave, like I am, like the same thing, and wearing Van Halen shit, and the one thing I remembered is they came out, they played. Roth was super funny, Eddie was killer, the background vocals were killer, the drums were amazing, the lights were killer. And then the show was over. It went like that for me because
Right.
it was so great. And I was like, that's what I want to do, what he's doing right there. That's what I want to do. I want to
Yeah.
be where we can fucking make jokes, make people laugh, and then woo them with our musicianship. And I'm grateful that I'm in that band now.
You are, man. And it's crazy though. That was 81, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Fair
Yeah.
warning,
I'm
right? Fair warning.
16. You remember the magazines were really important to see your favorite band,
Of
and most
course.
of the Van Halen stuff, and most of that the magazine stuff was shot by Niels Lozauer because he would
Of
go on the road
course.
with them. So
Yeah.
when we got signed, I was like to the band, I go, guys, we've got to use Niels Lozauer. He shot Van Halen, and he's amazing. So the first record is shot by him, the front cover, the back cover, all the press stuff. And while we're shooting for for our first record, Field of Steel, he gave me the opportunity to go through all the slides and his files, and I'm just like he couldn't get me out of there, dude, because there was all the outtake photos where they're just standing around, just random stuff and stuff that nobody's ever seen before,
All
and
right.
that was really a killer opportunity for me.
Yeah, I've met, and well, actually, Neil's been on here, and he's such a character. He's so much fun to hang around with and talk to. And yeah, I've been in the studio too, but I didn't get to go through the files. I want to though. I got to go
Yeah,
back by there.
that was really exciting. I'm you know what we're like? We're like Star Wars nerds right now, except it's just Van Halen, right?
Yeah,
Because
man, it's crazy,
going
right?
through going through those slides was it was really cool, man.
That Feel the Steel record, I forget how I came on it. I guess it might have been Death All But Metal, or the video, right? So I was immediately taken, and I was going down to get my car fixed or whatever. I threw it in for the first time, and dude, I laughed so hard. My wife was picking me up, and she's like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you crying?" And I was going, "This record is killing me." So it was so much fun, man. And then seeing you guys live, of course, over the years, and I've done your VIPs and met you guys before, and you guys bring that spirit. Now, this is something I wanted to get into. Is you get a lot of heat, obviously, for all the content, but when I think back to Ozzy or Motley Crue in the '80s or Van Halen, it was offensive. I mean,
Yeah, dude, it was offensive, and he was like, "Man, if you squirt water at me again, I'm gonna fuck your girlfriend."
right, right. I mean,
He's so cool.
but what to me with you guys, you bring the musicianship, you bring the show, you bring the whole package. So when I saw you guys, I thought, man, this is what it was like for me back in the day.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. That's a huge compliment because that's what I was raised on. That's what Satchel was raised on. Sticks. We all love that style of music,
Right.
and that's what we do now.
Right.
The first record has like an ode to Unchained with a song called "Eat and Ain't Cheating," kind of this like a similar guitar riff, but not
Yeah.
exactly. It's kind of like a riff between "Lay It Down" and "Unchained" mixed together, I guess.
I was going
But
to say, you also play guitar, which people don't really realize. I saw you at NAMM this year playing guitar, right? Is that your new model?
Dude, I don't have my model with me. It's
Yeah.
actually at my other place, but we Sticks and I did our own signature guitar model for a company called Chapman Guitars,
Yeah.
and we were at the NAMM show, promoting it and showing it
Yeah.
off for the press and everything. And it comes out this summer, so it's exciting, man. It's a
Yeah.
really, really killer guitar, easy to play. You can, fretboards, easy to do finger tapping on,
Right.
and you can also put a whammy bar on it if you want. I'm just at my mom's apartment right now, but the other place has all my guitars there. These are like I got this on a cruise called Shiprocked
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Dean, and
Yeah.
they gave it to me because they knew I would like it because it's like a Van Halen guitar.
Right on, man. Right on. Let me ask you this about Van Halen stuff. Obviously, I want to ask you your favorite song and your favorite album. Do you have favorites? Give me a couple of each.
Well, I Girl Gone Bad is one of my favorite deep cuts. And then that 1984 record is just so different to me
Hmm.
than any of other records.
Right.
And then it's really hard for me to pick one, honestly. But I'd have to say, like, I would say "I'm the One" on the first record is probably one of my favorite Van Halen songs, not only to sing and perform, but to listen to.
Right.
It's all the stuff on the first record really translates well in a live setting because that's how they were writing it at that time.
Right. Right.
1984 is like it's got some really fucking awesome cuts on it, man.
Now, tell me about the US Festival because I did actually a show on US Festival where I had people that were there, and a lot of them say it was really a difficult day to be there. That's so long and hot. And what was your impression?
Yeah, the same thing. And I was young, and my ass was kicked. I went with my older brother, and he had to go. He was like, "Dude, I can't stand anymore." I'm like, "No, we can't leave." I think we left during like halfway through Van Halen because
Yeah.
we got there when Motley Crue started,
Right. Right.
and I remember walking.
11
I was like,
a.m. or something, right? They started like 11 a.m. or something.
"Yeah, we were there early, dude." And we're walking through, and we were close to the stage. We were walking through, and I'm looking at them like those guys look so cool. Like
Right.
they looked really badass and they sounded killer. But I really wasn't listening so much as watching what they look like. They just looked different and unique and badass.
Yeah.
But the whole day was packed. I mean, Ozzy played, Triumph played, Judas Priest, Scorpions, dude. Scorpions kicked ass that night. That whole night was really amazing. The
Yeah.
whole day and night. But the experience was like just getting water and taking a piss was a big ordeal.
Right. That's what I've heard. And it really
Yeah.
dusty, I guess. And
Oh, it was dusty. It was fucked. We were all tired for like 4 days afterwards.
right. And I think it's because, you're in the desert, you get the really hot and then you get the really cold at night.
Yep.
So it was like really brutal. Yeah. That's why I've heard that.
But I'll tell you, man, I'm
Yeah.
so glad I had that experience because, it was once in a lifetime experience.
Of
They only
course.
did it once.
You were there, man. That's an amazing thing. You've read Van Halen all through your stuff. And one of the things I want to say real quick before I forget about it is that you made an appearance in the early years documentary, which was a lot of the early folks from Van Halen. Now, there's an extended cut that I've now found where you're actually featured more. I don't know if you know this,
No, I don't.
but you had just a little piece in it in the original, but in the online one, there's a lot more of your interview on that. I want to ask you this: you were at the US Festival, right?
Yeah.
You're a kid. Now you play these festivals in Europe that are 100,000 people. What's that like for you?
It's like the great way to explain it is like being on a boat and the
Yeah.
people of the sea, and it's just rocking, and it's like my whole earth is shaking underneath me, and all these people are there, and it's overwhelmingly. I could have a heart attack. It's a good thing we did it when I was in my 40s, and I got used to it because I was like, oh my God. My heart rate probably was 170 or something. I wasn't even working out, doing anything. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking crazy. And it's a whole, you have to learn how to perform in front of a big audience like that because it's different than a smaller audience. Things have to be bigger. And I learned that from Dave, dude, like talking slower.
Yeah.
Fuck the concert? What do you say we go across the street and get ourselves a drink? What do you say? He says it really slow. So because the sound travels slower when there's a bigger crowd. How about that?
Yeah, man, that's amazing too. I watch those videos of you playing those festivals. You know, you normally, like, I would say, like in Nashville or somewhere where I've seen you at Marathon, it's a fairly large stage, but you're talking about something that's 5 times the width and three
Yeah, it's a
times.
different ball game.
I can imagine. And you're all on in-ears, right?
Yeah, we're all in ears, which is great. So wherever you go, but it's funny when the festivals are that big, it's not all your crowd. So the job at a festival is to take the opportunity to win over some new fans,
Right,
you know,
right,
show them what you have, right? And I
right.
remember playing and me, Satchel, and Lexi, the bass player at the time, we all run over to this side, which is like maybe 75 feet that way.
Right.
And our drummer Six is all alone by himself. And we have background vocals, so we all had to sing the chorus for like 8 bars together away from him. He was all alone on stage, and the camera was just on him. It was hilarious, dude. It was like Spinal Tap.
Yeah, I was watching the video Heavy Metal Rules last night because I'd forgotten where you'd said that 11 years and 14 days in the front of that where y'all say that.
Yeah,
And you guys are like the epitome of that band that started out like, in the clubs and made that transition, from you guys were doing, you were doing more covers back in the early days and ended up doing your own thing.
yeah, we started out doing covers, and then we developed our show by playing like 3 or 4 nights a week.
Right.
And I think that really helped us out a lot. But at the time, while we were doing that, we felt really accomplished because we were a cover band and we were making money and not making money for singing. I was like, that's crazy, singing other people's music. And
Right.
then once I recorded some song and I brought it to the guys. It was a horrible song, but the idea was like we should write our own music, right? And Satchel's a great writer. So he took the song I had and we threw it in the trash and he just wrote a bunch of songs. And then I started writing some songs and we came up with, 10 songs and we got signed by Universal. And, when we came out initially, it was like, oh, cool, you're out. Big deal. But we actually got some recognition in the UK and we started to slowly build a following all over the world, which is a really huge accomplishment for us. And we're extremely grateful for it because you know how hard it is.
Hmm.
Some bands never have the opportunity to do that. And we have, and we're grateful. We're on our 6th studio record. We have 8 out total. And it's just, it's been a great journey so far, man. The key to
Right.
longevity, man,
Yeah.
is not dying.
Right. 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 Well, you're doing good so far. Right. I saw your Instagram post the other day with that face you put on yourself. I don't even know what that filter was.
Oh man, I got it. I got it from Snapchat, dude.
I love
Sometimes
that.
I'm really bored. Snapchat, all these social media things. They say, "Oh, it's rotten kids' brains." It's rotten the parents' brains, dude. I'm on there myself, like in the middle of the night, just on there, watching this shit. I'm like, oh my god, it's like 2 a.m. I get up at 5 hours or something.
Right.
It's like doom blow, actually.
I was gonna say, you got the Instagram song on your new record, which is genius. You guys have just managed to do all kinds of variations on the theme, and we used to just love it because you could hear the threads of the stuff that we loved growing up in your music. All the different kind of variations.
Dude, it's not going away. It's not going away. Steel Panther is, unfortunately, we're like cockroaches. You can kill us, but we keep coming.
Well, and you even got more famous by being on America's Got Talent this year.
Yeah,
Because
that
what's
helped.
what's what is freaking hilarious is about when you say that in say 11 years and 14 days, it's almost like that came true on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I
Because
guess so, huh?
you said something like millions of people will see us something, and then they'll get over it or whatever.
Oh my
And,
God, that's amazing. And by the way, just for
yeah,
you people watching, he's referencing our music video on YouTube called Heavy Metal Rules.
right,
Check it out.
right. It has this, it's kind of a continuation of Death to All But Metal, kind of like
Yeah.
when you're coming out of school. So,
Dude, thanks for having me on, bro.
sure.
I hope we gave you good stories.
Dude, awesome. I really appreciate it, man. Maybe I'll catch you sometime, maybe Nashville.
Awesome, dude.
Thank you so much, Michael. Have a great one, man. Michael Starr, y'all.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. See ya.